Notice in our printf here we have quote Bob quote, quote space has space value %I space quote, and quote did you know \n double quote, and then we've got comma Bob. Now if you take a look at the output here, you can see that Bob is printed first, then it's going to print has value, then it's going to substitute Bob in as the %I, and then say did you know. This is a strange way to actually make a printf, but you can see that it does indeed work. Let's take a look at another version of this. As you can see here, we have three define statements to define text1, text2, and text3 as the statements that we had before inside our printf. Notice that we've got here is text1 space text2 space text3 comma Bob, and when we take a look at the output, it does exactly the same thing. Bob is going to be represented by text1, has value %I is represented by text2, and text3 is going to be the rest of it here, and then comma Bob, and it will substitute again into the %I the value 4, as we can see here. Now this is how we can use define statements to actually define text strings. Let's take a look at another version of this. One of the things we can do is when we have a number of defines, we can put them into an include file. The way we do that is we go up here to project and we say add new item. And at that point it's going to ask us for a C file or header file. We're going to click on header file this time, and we're going to change this to my defines.h. We can call it anything we like as long as it has a .h extension. And when we take a look here, it's got this information here, but we're going to go back to our program here, just double click, and we're going to grab this exactly that we have here. We're going to control C, we're going to go back to my defines.h, and we're going to do a control A, control V. And so what we've done is we've moved our define section into here. Now to make this work, we have to now have an extra include, so we can get rid of this because it's already there in our my defines.h, and all we have to do is add one more include in here, which is $sign include, and notice here we have angle brackets because these are standardized include files. For ours, we're going to put quote, and we're going to put my defines.h. Now let's try running this with these changes. And if we do, we're going to see that we have exactly the same output as we had before. Notice our defines are in the include file, and they're then being pulled up and defining what we have here. So this is how you can add an include file that has all these definitions in it and not have the sign define statements in your actual code. And if you remember standard IO.h, it says definitions for printf and scanf, so there's a number of define statements and other things in the standard IO.h and also in standard lib.h, and that's how it works.